Checking in with yourself. What do I really mean by that? I've already given you a little splash of what I believe it is. We do this because we want to really unpack those feelings. Checking in with yourself could be something as simple as journaling on a regular basis, a few minutes a day. Pick a time, pick a place, pick a method, preferably with a notebook or with or your notes app on your phone or on your computer, whatever it is. It is really about a place where you unpack those tight, big feelings, regardless of which side of the silence you are in your relationship. I cannot stress this enough. It's also about consciously separating those thoughts from what is yours and what is not yours. Some of these I've already alluded to before, but I just wanted to really reinforce them. It also does preserve your sense of self and again prevents unnecessary guilt. And then again, it's also a way to step away from the situation and breathe and just breathe and and pick apart all of these little things that are flying around, put them down on paper, put them down into words in your notes app, take them out of your head so you could see them. That's the point of it. And also, it always helps you stay more connected to yourself. That is always the point, which you, of course, always deserve. And that is how you can function optimally in your health, is when you can do that. How do you do that? We ask ourselves the questions that help us get there. Don't you worry, I have got the questions here for you. The other thing we have to do is we have to really pay attention and answer them deeply from within, as opposed to the things we believe we should say. This is why you do this on your own, so there are no witnesses and there is no pressure for you to be anything else for anyone. This is really only about you, and it is only for you, even if it will benefit those who love you. We allow, this is hard for many people, as they have this emotional, this little wall that I won't feel it. I will just write down the facts and I will make lists. And this is about feelings. I can't stress enough how much feelings are involved in here. And so we also have to feel the answers as we answer them. Very important. So you do not, again, become robotic and antiseptic, because you won't solve a problem that way. You can solve many other problems, but not when it comes to this dynamic of silence in your intimate relationship. And then again, we keep going by repeating as needed as often as possible. I've fallen into the habit of journaling first thing in the morning every single day. There are days that I can't. There are days that I get caught up and then I wrote, why do I feel so crappy? Oh, I haven't checked in with myself. Some days it's a 5-minute, some days it's a 12-pager on my Word document. I still use Word, and that is me, but that is my habit now. And anytime that I'm feeling really disconnected out there, I've actually done this. I put myself in the coffee shop and I have grabbed a napkin, or I've grabbed an old receipt I have in my purse, and I've just checked in with myself and journaled right then and there. The questions, I said there were questions. Here they are. These are excellent ways to guide you inward, to plant you back within yourself, to really get into the heart, your heart of the matter, and what all of this means for you. The number one right there, this number one question is the one I always start with when I journal, when I self-reflect. How am I feeling emotionally? And that isn't how am I? I'm fine, thank you. What am I feeling? And this is where I go as far as I can in naming the feelings. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm furious. I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm frustrated. I feel powerless. I feel helpless. I am discombobulated. Sometimes I will use whatever words I can come up with to name what that is. Again, you could do a quick scan of your body. I tend to gather my tension and my anger and my feelings all around here. Whenever I've gone for a massage, it's always been like, ow, ow, ow. Like I hold it there. And sometimes it's also in the pit of my stomach when I am feeling really unwell about a particular situation, especially when there is anger or discord in my relationship. It's big. They're in our hearts, right? So this is going to matter a lot. That I can, what do I need in this moment that I can give myself? Sometimes the only thing I can give myself is grace. Sometimes it's just kindness to say, hey, you know what? You're doing okay. You've been working hard. You've been doing so much. You're doing okay. You're doing great. You're trying really hard. Maybe you mess up a little bit, but you're doing your best. So, just kind of let yourself let go of some of that nastiness. And that is a beautiful gift that you can give you. Sometimes we can also name what part feels unfair or disrespectful. And that was something that I needed to come to terms with again in when I was doing something. And unfortunately, in this particular situation, it was me using silence on my husband, and I knew I was being disrespectful. And I needed to really reflect on that, even if back then I couldn't do so much about it. But I at least got to the point that I knew that I wasn't proud of myself for how I was coping. What would bring me a sense of peace and relief at this situation? Sometimes it's a cup of coffee. Sometimes it's shaking things a little bit. Sometimes it's just stretching a little bit or calling a really, really good friend just to confirm that I'm not a complete asshole. Sometimes I just needed a reminder that I am still an okay human, no matter what I'm going through and no matter what I've done. That's very, very important. Sometimes that is all I can do. And maybe from the what would bring me a sense of peace or relief in a situation that might also mean, you know what I really need is the rest of the afternoon to just chill. If I can make it happen, I will. Or if I can't, then maybe I need a couple of spots over the next couple of days to just that I could call my own so I could really reset. Whatever it is, we got to be intentional and we got to let ourselves feel that awfulness sometimes to figure out a solution. What thoughts keep coming up for me during the silence? Again, for many of us, it's also the is this the end? Is it what have I done wrong? How do I fix this? How can I be better? How can be I'm why am I not perfect? Like these ridiculous things. But when we visit them, we see how unreasonable and unfair they are for ourselves. Am I placing too much of my happiness on my partner's response or approval? That we can easily fall into without knowing. If my partner is unhappy, does that mean I have failed them? Will I be a nothing if my partner won't give me the approval? If my husband is so disappointed in me, maybe he has reason to for me to reflect on that. Maybe he does not. So we always have to evaluate how much weight we are giving someone else, especially our partners, and how we are letting that bring us down or really make us feel very, very heavy. If am I being kind to myself in this moment? I've already alluded to that, but again, most of the time we are really nasty to ourselves. So it's always an excellent thing to do is to check in with that. What am I learning about myself from this experience? Whether I am the one giving silence or receiving it. This is a great moment to reflect upon what I may not be okay with, what I like about what I'm doing, what I don't like about what I'm doing, what I deeply wish for myself, what I'm really missing in this relationship, in my life, any of that. I'm convinced that everything is some kind of a learning experience, however awful it may be. And then again, how do I want to take care of myself the next time this happens? This gives us, when we have gotten into the habit of perusing a lot of this and digging in, we will have a better idea of what we can do moving forward the next time we are met with a very difficult situation in our relationship, especially when it involves silence. So you can tell that I put a lot of effort into these questions, and I sure hope that you use them moving forward. If you are the silence user, similar questions worded a little bit differently. The first one is similar in terms of what am I feeling emotionally, but the second one is particularly focused on someone who has been set off, who has been triggered. And the better we get at naming our emotional triggers moving forward, or the things that set us off, the better we are able to handle them, the better we get at managing them to the point that they do not cause anyone, especially yourself, further harm or difficulties. Am I shutting down because I don't know what else to do? It's good to acknowledge that, because if you even know that, you can go back to your partner and say, I shut down because I don't know what else to do. You could see how that alone can change things dramatically for your partner who's been shut out. But if you come back and saying, I just don't know, and then the two of you have a chance at working, possibly working at some things, working them out. What am I trying to avoid by being silent? It's usually intense feelings along the lines of conflict, along the lines of confrontation, along the lines of we don't want to be criticized. We don't want to feel even crappier about ourselves, especially if we are at a point where we're not feeling terribly good about who we are and what we have become. This is very important, that if we can at least pinpoint what it is we're evading, we have a chance of not evading it. Protecting. We see silence as a protective measure, but is it pushing me away from someone I really love? This is very important, because I love that person so much, but I'm pushing them away. If I push them so far, I actually lose that person. How does that make sense? So this is a possibility of bringing us back to a sense of reason. And what can I say or do to feel more connected instead of shutting down? This one is one of my favorites, because maybe you don't have to shut down. Maybe you could just say a couple of things so you haven't completely blocked out your partner. It gives them a slight sense of relief and instills hope in what you can both do together. That could be game changing right there. I love this one also. Am I blaming myself for feeling this way? We feel bad because we're triggered or we're really upset over something. We will feel twice as bad, exponentially worse, if we're now mad at ourselves for having these feelings. So it's one thing to be upset. It's another thing to be upset at yourself for being upset. And so again, this is an excellent thing to explore on your own as you check in with yourself. What would I tell a friend who's feeling like this? This is, again, one of my favorites. How amazing are we at giving advice to other people that we don't usually take? So again, this could help you turn that around and have you focusing inward in what you could do to self-soothe and self-regulate. How is staying silent affecting my relationship right now? It's not doing it any favors. Then if both of you have checked in with yourself and both of you have found some kind of clarity and both of you are courageous enough to come back and talk, this exercise will have been worth it. Tips that I need to reiterate again: make it a habit. I'm a big fan of journals. I have about 7 of them on the go, one for when I travel, one for anyway. It doesn't matter as much about me keeping them together. It's more a matter of me getting the feelings out. This is about building small habits. You don't need to know all of it. You don't need to but you do need to get started if you really want to help yourself. It will help you if you have an accountability buddy. I've had several in my life for several projects and several stages, and especially in keeping myself accountable. And it has helped me. It might help you. It's an easy thing that you could try with someone you trust.